Welcome back. This is John Locke, and today I'm answering a question that comes up quite often, which is about keyword mapping. Let's say that you have a list of keyword phrases that you know that you want to rank for. How do you map those to certain pages on your site? How do you determine what phrases you're going to try and rank for? So the unfortunate truth that most people do not want to hear when it comes to this question is if you're not already ranking for a phrase that you're explicitly trying to target, most of the time you're going to have to create a brand new piece of content to rank for that phrase. So if you have a bunch of keywords that you want to rank for, but you do not have explicit pages for those, most of the time you're going to have to create a page specifically for that. Now, there are some exceptions to this, which I'll explain really closely. So for those of my people who are in web design, web development, and marketing, I'll give you an analogy for when you would just have one page for a cluster of keywords and you would not need to create separate pages. So let's say that you're trying to rank for we'll say like SEO agency in a particular city, like SEO agency, SEO consultant, SEO firm, SEO company, and then SEO, and then whatever the name of the city is. All those things are basically going to be the same page. All those are going to be one page of content that's focused on a landing page for that specific service or that specific service within that city. So that's an example of mapping to a page that might already exist on your site. So I'm going to give you an example of another time in which you're going to need to create content because having a catch-all page for 3 or 4 different keywords is not going to cut it. So in this example, let's look at a typical manufacturing firm. Maybe they do a whole variety of stuff. They might do press braking. They might do laser cutting. They might do water jet cutting. They might do bending, like angle bending, and all these different things. Now, let's say that you have different pages where you have one page that's just for metal forming, or you have one page that's just for the different types of cutting that you do, and then you have one page for like everything else that doesn't fall into those categories. The truth is that you might have a list of keywords of all these different things that you want to rank for, like laser cutting, water jet cutting, press braking, metal forming, and tube bending, angle rolling, all these different things. And your first inclination might be to say, I've got these 3 main pages that are a list of the different services that those are, and therefore I'm mapping those keywords to those pages. So like 4 or 5 keywords for each of those pages will map to that, and I'm going to try and rank that. But in reality, what you're going to see is you're going to be a lot better off if you have specific landing pages for each of those services. The one thing that you must do in keyword mapping is not just guess at what you think the content should be, and not just guess at what pages you think should map to those keywords, but actually look and see what Google is rewarding for those terms, because you might be surprised at what type of content is actually ranking. Is it an individual service page? Is it a product page? Is it a blog post? Challenge your presumptions and actually look at the search results for each of the keywords and make a list of how many times in that top 10 each type of page appears. Make notes of each of those things, and what you will see is patterns emerge of what type of content will actually succeed when you take those notes instead of just guessing based on what you already have. But like I said, most of the time what you're going to find is if you're trying to rank one page for 10 different keywords and there are all different things, and maybe that one page just kind of mentions it, or maybe it doesn't even mention it at all, you're going to be much better off creating individual pages or blog posts or articles for each of those keywords, and that's usually what plays out. So again, what type of content should you create is going to be dictated by what Google is already ranking. So it all depends. If you're an e-commerce store and you're trying to rank a certain term, it might end up being a category page. It might end up being a single product page. Again, look at what Google is already ranking. Whenever you have your list of keywords, you have to do that research, and the Google search results will tell you what you have the best odds of ranking with each and every time. The patterns are usually very, very clear. So that's how I do keyword mapping. Most of the time, how it ends up is, there's just not enough content on the site, or it's not the right content. And even if I have something that maybe there's a page on the site that kind of ranks. Okay, let's talk about that. The last scenario that I want to talk about with the keyword mapping is when you have a page that kind of ranks for a term, because maybe that term is mentioned somewhere in the title tag, maybe it's mentioned somewhere in the page, and it's not anywhere near page 1 of Google. Maybe it's like page 5 or 6. Maybe it's somewhere in the top 100, so it's in the first 10 pages of results, but it's not ranking anywhere near the top. In those types of cases, it's the same advice. Look at what's actually ranking, and you can kind of tell what you need to do to change your existing page that you want to have ranked for that keyword phrase to make it go up to number 1 if you just follow the patterns of what Google is already rewarding. Keyword mapping, it's a little bit of research up front. Once you have that knowledge, then you can determine whether you need to make a new page, tweak an existing page, or split existing pages into smaller sub-pages, because you've determined that that is what you need to do in order to rank based on what you're already seeing in the Google search results. My name is John Locke. My business is Lockdown Design and SEO, and I'm here every single day making videos on SEO. Really appreciate all the new subscribers who have come on recently. If you have a question, leave it in the comments below. I answer every comment. That's it for now. I'll be here tomorrow, and until next time, peace.